So, MJ, are you ready for your 10 questions?
I am, but could you make it 5?
No. Well, yeah, we'll do 5 and then we'll do another 5. So good.
Sounds good.
Great. All right.
A little humor there.
Question number 1. Speaking of humor, if you had to choose between the two, which one would you pick? Batman's utility belt or a fanny pack?
Oh, definitely Batman's utility belt. Give me all that extra power.
Right? Now, see, a lot of people say that, but in this particular case, both are empty. So, like, you have to accessorize the utility belt or you have to accessorize the fanny pack. Does that change anything for you?
Well, I'm hoping that I can go to the Batman store to actually get whatever I need to put on that utility belt. Whereas a fanny pack, where do you go to get utilities for a fanny pack? Seriously, wouldn't you rather go to a Batman store?
Right? Batman store, I'll go to the Batcave, get all suited up. I guess with the fanny pack, you would go to, like, Target or something. I don't know.
I'm not going to have enough superpowers there.
Probably not. So here we go. Question number 2. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Oh, I'm gonna have to say Dirty Dancing. It's an oldie but goodie, but I love dancing and music, so I would say Dirty Dancing.
Dancing. You know, I've only seen clips of that. I've not seen the whole film.
Oh, the dancing was awesome.
We'll go check it out. So speaking of favorites, what is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote would be, could I do scripture instead?
Sure.
Does that work for you? Okay.
No,
so it would be
it's
Jeremiah
outside
20...
the rules. You can't do that. Yeah, go ahead.
It would be Jeremiah 29:11, and it is for I know the hopes and dreams I have for you. Actually, I'm getting it completely wrong, but if you look it up, it's Jeremiah 29:11, and I know I usually know this off by heart. Not to harm you, the hope and dream for you, not to harm you, but to give you hope in a future. Okay.
Yeah.
Completely screwed it up, but that is one of my favorites. You know that one?
I do. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a good future. Not to harm you, but this and this, or something like that.
Yes. And prosper's in there too.
Yeah.
So mess that one up, but the audience can look it up. The other one for a quote would be the one that's learn how to dance in the rain. So because not every day is a sunny day, and we have to be able to dance or to live life regardless of what life brings to us.
What is the best advice you have ever received?
The best advice I've ever received. I'm gonna have to go to my sales days, and I will have to say this comes from one of my co-workers. And he says, MJ, when someone comes in who is opposite personality of who you are and how you are, take a step back, because you have such high energy that sometimes you can just make somebody go backwards. So taking a time to think about that personality and that person, especially I worked with a lot of engineers in my last corporate position. So asking a question and then shutting up so they could answer. Or when they asked me a question, I would answer and then I would pause so that they could adjust and comprehend it. So being careful about when you're talking to someone who has a completely different personality than you do.
Nice. I like the connection that leads to seeing people as people.
Yes.
That's good. That's really good. So question number 5.
Okay.
What was your favorite childhood toy?
Barbie. So typical. So it's so funny because I actually ended up being a tomboy. I lived in a neighborhood that had all boys, and there was one other girl who was a few years older than me. And I have 3 brothers after me, but I loved Barbies. But I'll tell you what, I could throw a rubber ball or a softball, and whenever it came to pickup teams, I would get chosen before my 3 brothers. So I had both.
Well, as long as we're thinking about times when you were a kid, the next question is, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a teacher, which by the time I got to college, it was business. I went into business. However, considering what I do now in training, in some way or another, I'm still an instructor. And I did once, well, actually for 10 years, I taught a writing course at our local community college. So in a roundabout way, I did become a teacher.
That's awesome. Wow. So, next question. What brings you joy?
What brings me joy? Sunshine. I live in Pittsburgh. We get 59 sunny days a year, so sunshine brings me joy. A hug from my grandchildren bring me joy. Seeing a child licking an ice cream cone and having a good time brings me joy. There's so many ways that we can enjoy life, and just looking at how those little pleasures in life can bring us joy. So just about everything, Jeff.
All of it. All of it. That's great.
Yes.
Well, then that might make this next question a little more interesting. So the next question is, what brings you dread?
Seeing somebody who is bullied, that really hits me at the core. And it goes back, and I'll use an example when I was a child. I was probably somewhere around early teens, and I was at my grandfather's house. I was coming back from a store, and I saw a boy being bullied by two other kids. And I actually went in and jumped in, and I am screaming at these boys, screaming loud enough, and we were in an alleyway between two streets, that people came running and those two boys left. So that, bringing back to, that time, but seeing someone who is bullied or somebody who is picked upon. Many years ago, I was in an assistant manager position, and the manager did a lot of, I'll just say, picking on one of our other staff members. And it bothered me so much that I jumped in continuously. Didn't make a good relationship between the manager and myself, but I hate to see people, and hate's a strong word, but I do. I really dislike seeing people bullied.
That seems to tie into your desire to be a teacher, to help, and what you do now is for a living.
Yes. And one of my hopes when I work with people is to show them a way to be uplifted with what they do. And regardless of what we've been dealt with in life, there's always a way to find joy, to be uplifted, to be positive.
That's awesome. You're just good people. Good people.
Thank you. You too.
Question 9.
Oh, I made it to 9.
I know. But it's like it's going so fast. So
It is.
Question 9 is, what do you want to accomplish but cannot do on your own?
Run a business, definitely. And there's a number of other things too. When I went through cancer treatment, I could not do that on my own. Fortunately, my children were very, very supportive, and God bless my daughter-in-law, who, after I came back from surgeries, she had to take care of the drains that came home with me, and there were 4 of them, and some of the other things, that came with the surgeries. So could not do that on my own, but run a business. I realized, which is one of the things we'll talk about, I really need other people to help run my business, because I'm not always system driven. So having people that help me drive systems really makes a difference for my business. Personal level and a professional level, because as you know, what impacts us personally impacts our business, and what impacts us professionally impacts us personally.
Now we're at number 10, the last question. We've made it to the finish line. Here's how we're going to drive it home. What do you hope people say about you after you are gone?
After I'm gone? Okay, which is something I've thought about considering my prognosis for cancer. However, I'm good now. I hope people, whenever I'm gone, say, she helped me. she was a good person. You know, there's something that I had taken from her. And I'll give you an example. Today, one of my clients, she's leaving for a trip. It's about 2.5 hours from her house. And we don't have great weather today. And she said, you know, I'm really nervous about this. I've been having heart palpitations because of it. And I said, remember, you know, this is what I used whenever I was coming home. Threw a whiteout from one of my son's basketball games, and it was the whole way driving, which was 4 hours, safe and sound, safe and sound, safe and sound. Rather than think about, oh, please don't wreck, you know, we flip it to the others. And she said, yes, I'm so glad you shared that with me. I remember that. So it's those little pieces, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, when I'm gone, which I hope isn't for many, many years, is that I gave them some type of nugget that helped them to have a better life.
This is why we're friends.
Like-minded people.
MJ, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with the audience, and thank you for being a light and teaching and helping other people.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.